Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran. We are back inside of the Tower of Torghast. It feels like it's been quite a bit since I've been here. And Blizzard have actually put up a blue post recently talking about, hey, we kind of want you guys to head back into Torghast to try some of the different layers in the Oribos and the Maw servers. You now can create a level 60 character with some of the starting gear. I think they're basically trying to get people to test Torghast when it comes to just getting to max level, just got some gear from your world quest, and kind of how is it going to play out? Is it going to be too difficult or overtuned? So we're going to jump into Torghast and see if we can come up with some wacky builds along the way. So for this testing, Blizzard has different layers. Shadowlands level 60 layer 1, which is going to be designed for characters attempting to get through layers 1 through 3. Layers are going to look something like this. So every week in Torghast, you're going to have a couple different corridors that are available, usually 2. And then you have the one way out there, which one of those 3 should be the infinite walkthrough for Torghast. We're not going to be doing the infinite run. We're going to be doing the layer stuff. But there are a couple of things at the beginning here that are available for you to interact with. Like, for example, they have a Forge of Bonds here, so you can go and adjust your character. The characters that we are allowed to make are not super progressed forward. They kind of are capped to about here when it comes to your progression of the soul binds themselves. As you can see, kind of like they are locked to certain renowns. But here we have everybody and their mother stacked up, ready to do some Torghast, and everybody can do it either as groups or solo. We're going to be doing ours as solo. So what Blizzard wants to do for feedback is to see how far in difficulty people can go for, what classes they ended up playing as, how successful they were, how many times did they die, and basically test the balance tuning and scaling, because they want to make sure the levels are not too easy for the different levels, but are also not super difficult either. We're gonna go with the Skuldus Hall, and when you walk up to the portal, you can actually see some of the different levels you have of the, or different layers of the progress, and each layer rewards you with different amount of soul ash. And apparently we were able to try level 7 and level 8, which are harder levels, so I kind of want to unlock them. So we're gonna jump into level 6, see what kind of a build we can come up with. The character was automatically determined to be a Venthyr for me, so this isn't something I can change. Maybe if I were to make a new character, it'll just spit out a random covenant at me, as that's what it seems to do, is just spit random covenants at you when you create a character. We're going to try to see if we can get into layer 6, see if we can complete the layer 6, see how hard it is, and see if we can come up with a interesting build along the way. So if you're never been inside of Torghast, this is how it works. You'll first enter, that will be the exit if you ever feel like you need to back out of here. And as you go through Torghast, you'll find these anima hordes. When you click them, they give you different anima abilities. Anima abilities are going to be RNG abilities that can be randomly thrown at you during each run to give you a rogue-like experience, but inside of World of Warcraft. And with them, you can make different builds, and they change based on your class. There's some spec-specific stuff and generalized stuff, and there are only inside of this one instance of Torghast that you're in, so they're temporary abilities, not something you get to keep. We have the Crown of Obstinance, which makes enemies within 15 yards have their casting speed reduced, which seems really good. The other one is Spike Lashes, Flagellation, which these can be interactable with your certain Covenant abilities. Flagellation now grants you 1% haste per stack up to a maximum of 30 haste. The haste could be really good, but I think we're going to go with Crown of Obstinance just because slowing down cast speeds for certain abilities combined together with Numbing Poison, I think could be a really good combo. Another thing we are running for our rogue is different talents. So let me show you the talents that we are bringing into the Torghast round for the day. We're going to go with Weapon Master, Acrobatic Strikes, Mark for Death, because it seems to be a really good cleave combination. Iron Stomach for the self-healing. I might end up switching out to Cheat Death at some point probably in the week because we can stun things and control it, but Dirty Trick seems like a good choice as well in the same row. Alacrity seems pretty good as well in this row. Maybe Dreadblades for that burst if I ever need it. And I feel like Killing Spree would be the biggest burst because we're not going to be pulling too many enemies. Blade Rush would be great for the uncapped AoE. And maybe Dance's Tail might even be good for sustain, but I'm thinking burst, AoE, or burst single target. Killing Spree would be great for that. We also have our soul binds, and we have limitation in our soul binds, but we are bringing Count the Odds, where Ambush, Slaughter, which isn't even an ability anymore, and Dispatch have a 50% chance to grant you a buff of roll the bones that you don't already have for 5 seconds. So hopefully we'll be able to use this all together to have a bit of an easier time with this run. So we're going to pull this guy back here, try to see if we can line us out with this other guys. Mark for Death is going to be insanely good here. Killing Spree off of this, since we have these guys stacked up. They're setting up a critical shot, so if we can eliminate them quick enough, we'll be okay. And we got ourselves an Anima Orb. Enemies, as well as vases, and a lot of other things can drop these plundered anima, which can give you even more anima abilities. The idea is to pick up these anima abilities, which are going to be at random, and try to come up with a build. When you enter Torghast and you enter a layer, different layers have different, we can call them affixes. And with this one, sometimes Moss One Seekers will spawn and try to attack me when I'm out of combat. And each one of these different halls for Torghast has different affixes for you to deal with. The higher in levels you go, the stronger this enemies get. So they're right now at 4 stacks. They actually have quite a bit of health and do quite a lot of damage. Being out of combat for me might not be a good idea. If I could just stay in combat and chain pull enemies, then I never have to deal with these guys. And that's one of the strategies we could implement in this floor. Here we got a anima ability called Bloating Fodder. You cause more rats to explode on death, dealing a bunch of plague damage to nearby enemies. So there's a Morat right here, actually. So if I bring the Morat into the fight, let's say get all my buffs up and running, Morat joins the fight. We're going to focus the Morat for a second. It'll explode, and these guys will take a little bit extra additional damage. Now, one of the advantages of rogues in Torghast is the obvious. You can just kind of sap and walk past people if you want to, but the idea is you really do want to kill as many enemies in here while you can to see just what kind of different bonuses and buffs you can have. That's a strike. Don't stand in front of it. And we're going to try to see if we can have our run with Torghast, see how well it works for us, and see how well we do. That's essentially what we're going to be doing here. And we got ourselves a pretty big elite mob. These guys have a pretty high chance of dropping anima abilities, but they're generally really rough to deal with. So I think we kind of want to line of sight everything here. Make sure we got ourselves a roll the bones possible. So the guy that we were going to have to... Oh, okay, roll the bones needed here. We got ourselves leech buff, which is huge. And we might just kill and spree this, honestly, to get rid of it very quickly. And that is the end of this level, because we've been on the first floor this whole time, slaying, I mean, how many? 100 people so far? 100 different NPCs in this area, and that's the Empowered Maw Interceptor. An empowered enemy usually guards the doors at the very end, so in most cases you'll just want to kill them. But when you know that you've seen an empowered enemy at the very end of a run, you know that you can actually go and explore the rest of the room, because there's still quite a lot to explore, and we still haven't even collected a lot of anima abilities yet. Another thing we could talk about, since I did die at some point while trying to go get my food, left my character AFK and got mauled by those Maw Seekers, deaths in Torghast are limited. At least with this layer, you only start with 4. And going forward into the infinite levels, Blizzard at some point had it where per level you had 3 attempts, and afterwards a massive Yeti covered in metal, this is the best way I could describe the model, called a Taragru, would be chasing after you and just trying to wipe you out. Once Taragru reaches you, it basically soft locks you and forces you to exit the Tower of Torghast. But it looks like Blizzard changes, so once you start your run, you have a limited amount of tries. These tries do increase if you are doing this in groups, but if you are doing it solo, it's going to give you the minimum amount. So going into Torghast, make sure that you pace yourself and make sure you don't die too many times. Otherwise, you're kind of done. But here we have a phylactery, which we've been calling these things vases, but they're phylacteries, with an anima ability. And here we actually have a choice. Flagellation causes tormented target to be lashed 2 additional times every 1 second. Yes, please. With Remorse versus Phantasma. I think we are going to go for a little bit extra damage on our ability. And here's another powerful enemy called a Death Speaker and Lord of Torment. There's so many different enemies here. I love it. They used to have a really poor animation and poor model for them. It used to be basically like a Wrath of the Lich King, Kel'Thuzad looking kind of guy standing here, but they really improved on that, so I really like what Blizzard did here. I think we're going to take this to the face, see how bad it is. Not bad at all, but these guys do get stacks in terms of power, so you want to kind of kill them as quickly as possible. Bind the Fallen. Don't want him to do that. Nice. That was beautiful. I think we just kind of go into the next Lord of Torment. After we kill these Morats real quick, of course. Then we can go into the Lord of Torment. Way of Suffering, so he does a very similar ability, if not exactly the same. Eternal Torment, I think, is a channel, so we can gouge it to interrupt it. Get ourselves buffs back up. Build up a little bit of that slice and dice through Grand Melee. Way of Suffering, we will take it. Might just actually stun this one. This guy seems to have a lot more health than the other guy, though. Eternal Suffering, Torment, we can gouge it. Right, it starts channeling. I think we'll actually teleport stun this thing for a second just to disrupt it. Beautiful. There's a lot of things you can do that are not stuns and interrupts in order to deal with those casts. Just something to make them stop casting and having to recast. And us having a pretty good synergy together with a numbing poison and crown of obstinance gives us a lot of capability to just kind of shut down a lot of the casts that they do. Also in Torghast, you have a lot of puzzles. This one being a kind of like one of these dials changes all four. One changes 3, one changes 2, and one changes 1. And each dial, once it's in the right position, a chain is gone. So you have to kind of figure out and finagle with it. It's a lot of a play back and forth, and there's quite a lot of puzzles in Torghast, which sometimes can slow down the gameplay, but it's always nice to just kind of stop just massacring hordes of enemies and just kind of play a little bit of a mini game from time to time. These are always enjoyable. You're immune to movement apparent effects, and on your movement speed is increased by 50%. Surefoot Grease. As a rogue, this is huge. Never getting slowed. So that means I can always kite enemies, and if I'm careful enough, acrobatic strikes now has incredible value. So constant movement speed, nothing is ever slowing me down, which also adds a little bit extra where there are certain abilities that do damage to you while also applying a slow. Because I'm immune to slows, I no longer take damage from those abilities, which is an extra bonus value that isn't really told with this kind of ability. I think this is a rogue only anima ability, which makes it extremely rare and extremely unique. And we get the guardian that guards the door. They're basically going to just be a little bit stronger version of the original interceptors that do a lot of damage, as you can see. So we kind of want to deal with them as quickly as possible. We don't really want him to use any of his abilities ever. Critical shot, for example, that's going to do a lot of damage. Okay, maybe we could just outrun him. Line of sight. That did a lot of damage. Line of sight. Just continue line of sighting. Okay, that doesn't go through walls. I was afraid. We'll blind him, and we'll actually wait until we get a couple of Crimson Vials, which is another advantage of being a rogue in these Torghast dungeons. So in Torghast, it basically forces you to play your class to its most optimal degree. And as Outlaw Rogue, I mean, I got a lot of CC. I got Gouch, I got Blind, I got Poisons, I got Stuns. I got a lot of things I can really work with. Other classes, not so much. Other classes are a little bit squishy, or they might have to play it very tanky, but very slow damage oriented, like a warrior inside of these. You're going to have to be very careful with how many enemies you kill. Because I think as a warrior, you'll have to play around Victory Rush. You'll have to execute an enemy, then attack another enemy, hit him with a Victory Rush, and kind of chain it off of enemies. So depending on the class, depending on the spec that you're playing, Torghast is going to make you play the game completely differently. And just with a few hits, I was almost dead. So we got ourselves another ability. When you attack a new enemy, you heal for 1,000. This could be pretty good for chaining abilities. Looting Phantasma grants you a shield up to a maximum of 24,000. I kind of like the Protective Phantasma. There's a lot of things that give you Phantasma, so being able to get a shield out of it, I think it's going to be a good idea. And now we have a puzzle where we kind of have to get this blue line to the other side, I think. So, oh, okay. They changed this quite a bit. We'll go like this. That seems kind of like we're heading in the right direction. Oh, okay. I accidentally solved it. I really didn't mean to solve it the way I did. Okay, this is like a lich type of enemy. They are a little bit tough. Tougher than before. Good thing we have an ally at least with us, so could be much worse. Surge of Pain, I don't really know what he does. I don't remember how well. So we might just kidney shot this. Nope. Suppress. I don't know what that does. We'll interrupt it. Just don't be on the safer side. Kidney shot him. Throw in Flagellation immediately. Let it stack up in damage. Yeah, these guys used to be really tough. I'm not really sure what they did with them to nerf them. We increase attack range of auto attacks by 10 yards or become immune to silence and interrupt effects. I think we are going to go with extra auto attacks. That is an actually good ability. On this other side, we have even more enemies, but we will take care of the Seekers before we do that. So my auto attacks can actually reach quite far, right? 10 yards? Yeah, so it could actually kite enemies like if they're slowed. My auto attacks can actually reach them from quite a distance. This can be pretty good in terms of getting away from enemies, but not super far away where you can't reach them. Here we go. And we get either critical chance increased by 9% or increase the range of attacks by 10. 20 yards of auto attacks? I'd say we try it. 20 yards from afar, we can auto attack enemies. So if we slow them down, we can kind of just kite them around and just auto from really far away. I do want to... This is the wackiness of Torghast that I do enjoy. Hold on, we're going to slow them. They're auto attacking. Basically enhancement shaman right now, boys. Yeah, so as long as this guy, even with Curse's Train, just can't even reach us. Yeah, this is going to give us definitely a lot more cheese. And you can do this apparently from 30 yards, 40 yards, 50 yards. If you get really lucky with the abilities, you can do this for quite a while. All right, let's start clearing through this room one by one. Actually, how hard does he hit? I don't really know. These used to be really, really tough. Maybe they're not that bad anymore, especially if I could just auto attack it from super far away. Armor plating, that is the ability that's going to kind of suck. Physical armor reduced. And he is going to have increased movement speed over time. Movement speed is increased by 40%, so we can outrun him for a while. Oh no, this is the worst combo. Kill him, kill him, kill him. Okay, this could work. Lightning Dust with ranged auto attacks procs so much. That's hilarious. I wonder if you could actually basically be an enhancement shaman as an Outlaw rogue. So we cleared the full room, which was kind of a tough one, honestly. And we are gonna give the Fae back the flute, which should give us quite a bit of quite a good ability usually. Let's see. Increases maximum health by 100 and prevents knockback effects. Standing still temporarily reduces your movement speed due to growing roots. Roots of the Dream Tree. So this will be really good for someone who just wants to stand their ground. As a rogue, we are mobile. I do wonder if this actually combos together. You're immune to movement impairing effects. Is this basically free 100 health? 100% health? Let's try it. Think it... Oh, no. It does root you. It does make you slow. Oh, this was a really bad idea. So as long as if we ever stand still, it will root us. And then trying to walk out of it is going to kind of slow us down. Yeah, so basically we kind of want to be moving all the time with this ability, which isn't really an issue for me at all. In most cases. This is probably not a good combo because this I thought would kind of counteract each other. But this slow, I'm telling you right now, is going to definitely get me in trouble at some point or another. And this is the vendor. From him, we can actually buy specific anime abilities, which are randomized. We could buy stuff like Thristler. Astron Phylacteries, which are the things that we've been breaking, have a chance to drop Thristlety, which can be used to restore 100 energy. Works just like old Thristlety. We got Pouch of Soul Ash. Killing an enemy reduces their remaining cooldown of Vanish by 5 seconds, which could give us a lot of vanishes. Watchful Lightfly. Basically, it gives you like a lightning shield effect where it'll do back damage to enemies that strike you. Versatility buff here. We have common points generate abilities now also deal additional 3% damage to nearby enemies for each common point you currently have. So basically, if you count on common points, you can make certain abilities like Sinister Strike hit harder if you just don't spend the common points, which can be good in some cases. Vanish reducing the main cooldown of other abilities by 15 seconds could also be pretty good. Or we can go with Plundered Anima, which I think I'm going to buy at least one off. This is basically like any other anima we've gotten, and it gives you randomized 3 abilities, or 2 in this case. Either we can do critical strike chance increase or door to shadows. I think we're going to go with crit. But we don't want to use too many of these on the Plundered Anima cells, I don't think. I kind of want to go with the Shadow Lace Armaments, because this one is really strong. Maybe we can go with a Vanish to reduce the cooldown, or reducing cooldown of Vanish. This could be a good combo together with Invigorate and Shadow Dust. I think that might actually be the way to go. A double combo. None of these others I feel like I really want. Maybe the Versatility. And I guess we'll do one Animal Cell here, and we'll do a Ravenous Cell, which is a little bit different. I'll show you what that's like. We got other... Oh, Earn Phantasma. Let's go with the Earn Phantasma for extra Phantasma earnings with protection. I think that combos together. And we'll go on to the next floor. So we gotta find a combination of levers, which will open the box. There we go. We found the combination. You basically just gotta go through a set of just have them all face up, and then just 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, and just kind of try all the different combinations in specific order. Secret Spices, killing a Mora, increasing maximum health by 2% up to 100%. So we might be able to get our health to be even higher. So let's just kind of teleport into these guys. We are mobility compromised at this point. It's a little bit unfortunate for us. But can we just do this? Jump. No damage. Find the fallen. Interrupt that. As deliberate. I think we can just line of sight it too. Yep, we can. Still attacking. Can't do anything. Still attacking. Still attacking. Jump in. Oh, we actually let that one go through for some reason. We're gonna go for an interrupt with a kidney shot. Killing spree. Might as well get some damage in. Nice. Yeah, so you could definitely cheese these. I have this enhancer shaman thing to me now. I do like that. Okay, what do we got? Dealing nature damage is a chance to inflict the enemy with storm cycle, dealing a bunch of damage over 1 second indefinitely. So I think it's damage forever. We do have nature damage from our poisons, so potentially could be good. Your attacks have a chance to curse the target, put up 4,000 shadow damage. This is the shadow damage curse. That seems really strong. So with this ability of Doorway to Shadows, we can only means you pass through. Damage taken by 20% for 30 seconds. I think I gotta get on the opposite side of the enemy. So it kind of like you teleport through them. So it's not to them, but through them. I'll need to try it out with the next enemy that I see. Which I think we actually won't be able to because this is the boss room. I think this is going to be the final boss room. Let's see if all our abilities that we stacked up together will be enough to fight the boss. So who is the boss, first of all? We could actually peep. It's going to be a Cell Block Sentinel. I don't remember what he does. I think he mostly does AoEs. So us having that ranged attack damage is going to be good. They do get a stacking buff, so they do more damage over time though. So have to be very careful about our abilities here. Cooldown of grappling hook is reduced, generates 1 common point. Finish moves increase damage of next common point generated by 100. I think this will be really good. We have these guys here, which is super unfortunate. I'll be here. Last try. Dispatch deals additional 35% damage. I think that'll be a good one. And we have mastery increase, haste increase. Let's go with some plundered animal cells. Might as well grab mastery. I might as well do this one, Wraith Coil. And sell. Ambush applies 1 common point or dodge. I think I'll take the dodge with our ability of Doorway of Shadows. I think what we'll do is we'll open up on this guy, then we'll doorway past him, and then we'll do our damage. I think that's how we're gonna end up doing this opener. Wish me luck, boys. Roll. Doorway through him. Yes, now he has a debuff, which is perfect. Shockwave, which is a frontal. Can avoid most of it just by running circles. Ground Crush. Super far enough ability. Grapple Hook. Give us a calm point. Lumber and Might. I think it's maybe a buff for him. Yes, it is. Damage increased by 50%, so we don't really want him to attack us during this moment. This is where crowd control is going to come in handy. Oh, wait. What is this buff he gets? Movement speed. Attacks cause Sentinel charge to spawn, so you don't want him attacking. Huh, okay. Interesting choice. Oh, not the best time for me to do this, and I think that might be the end to me, unless I can somehow survive this. Looks like I'm surviving just by a hair longer. He is slowed. Eventually, he's not going to be slowed, though. So I think now he's immune to CC. Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, now he has a lot of movement speed. Yeah, immune to CC at this point. Oh, the shockwave. Alrighty, that was a rough one. Oh, okay, I got a couple more runs in me in this one. Next common point generator does additional 100% damage. Man, okay, so we gotta really get careful here. We do have enough Phantasma to buy potions, so I think we'll have to use it. I think we're gonna have to get a lot more aggressive with this guy in order to do as much single target damage. We also want to, I think, save our evasion when he's spawning adds. Maybe we might be able to evade him spawning extra adds, but we'll just have to wait and see and be careful about it. So open it up with a teleport on the other side. Let's get flagellation rolling as early as possible. Shockwave, avoid that as best as we can. Ground Clash. We don't need to take damage from it. Lumber and Might is the one where he's gonna do more damage to us, but also be slowed. Want to avoid that as best as we can, or maybe just run. Maybe, but he's slowed for this, so we might be okay. Crumbling Walls is where we actually want to avoid. Wait, is this attacking him? Attacks received. Okay, so we actually don't want to try not to attack him during that moment. That's why. Is in this. Okay, and don't want extra adds. Lumber and Might, we can actually get away. Keep attacking him from afar. Shockwave. Ground Crush. Crumbling Walls. Or maybe we just want to fight him. We'll have ad spawn, and this will just pop evasion. We'll just cleave them all. Yeah, that worked. Popping up potion. We can almost have him. So close. Crumbling Walls, we just want to stay the fuck away from him. Porting. Nope. Probably dead. Teleporting away. Okay. Nice. Oh, that was a rough fight at the very end. Oh my goodness. Yeah, my build was not great for this, but we did it. I think the extra auto attack just at a distance, this enhancement shaman style, play style, with, oh, thank goodness I got corrupted antenna. Oh man, corruption antenna was the play 100%. This was a really rough fight. Wow. I did not expect for the boss fights to get this kind of hectic in these. They really buffed them. I think that they buffed them to the point where they are challenging, and I did like that. Actually, it was a lot of fun to do. That was difficult, but that was a lot of fun. You know what gave me vibes for? Mage Tower, old school Mage Tower. When before you had all the catch-up gear to make it that much easier, the first time you had to do it, man, is it just like a really rough and tough and mechanics. It felt like Dark Souls, but wow, that was awesome. Oh, come on. You too. Come on. This is how you reward me, the victor of this run. Man, this was a lot harder than before. To show off the build that we ended up going and getting with our rogue, I think one of the coolest abilities we barely get to play with but would be insane is Mask of Withering. Doorway of Shadows weakens all enemies you pass through, increasing the damage taken by 20% for 30 seconds was a pretty big one in order to kill the boss. We end up going with a very tanky build with 3 Oblaron endurance and even picking up roots of the Dream Tree, which kind of made our runs a little bit harder. Even if we did have Surefoot Grease, it doesn't seem to remove the roots slow. However, we also picked up 2 elongated skeletal arms, so having extra auto attacks, extra noodle arms on our Outlaw rogue ended up working out for us pretty well. A lot of pickups like Lightning Dust as well as Finger of Frozen Fury helped us a bit with all the proc damage with us auto attacks. We also ended up getting Corrupted Antenna as well, and we bolstered our tankiness together with Protective Phantasma, where as we pick up Phantasma, we gain a shield up to a maximum of 172,000, though I doubt for the boss fight I actually had that many available. Also picked up secret spices, so as killing more ads gave us even more health to deal with the situation. And finally, we have a couple last minute pickups with Slippery, Wrath Coil, as well as Last Blade, which picking up more of these throughout a run would have definitely gave us a lot more damage, but instead we had very much a auto attack friendly playstyle. We also did get Remorse, which ended up giving us quite a bit of damage early on. Flagellation increases the tormented target, causes the tormented target to be lashed 2 additional times every 1 second. So this just gave us even more lashes a lot quicker, made it much more of a guarantee that we'll get a full value out of the haze buff with it. And for the early levels, we did get Crown of Obstinance, which did help us out a lot with some of the enemies that cast. So enemies that are just going to be casting into our face, it was a little bit easier to deal with the crown at hand. But that ended up being kind of majority of the more important items that we ended up picking up for our run. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you want to see more Torghast runs on the channel, and I'll see all of you guys in another video.